This is Tom Hartman for CityNetMagazine.com. We're sitting down with Matt Mullenweg, who is one of the co-founders for WordPress, one of the probably the most popular content management system in the world. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure.
So I just had a few questions about some things that you brought up during the keynote speech, specifically about spammers and hackers. Now, a lot of people would boo and when they hear about that, but do you find that their existence causes your programmers and you yourself to be more diligent about your code, more to expand faster than you would have before?
That's a little bit hypothetical because there will always be bad actors, right? There will always be people trying to exploit a system. So, yeah, maybe if there weren't, we wouldn't care as much, but there always will be. So it's we focus a lot on, because security isn't really a feature, right? It's not something you can turn on magically. It's a process. It's really continued diligence and approaches and auditing code and just being careful about every single line that goes in the software. And so we're continually watching that. And it's also kind of fun, right? Because it's kind of like, you know, old style, wild, wild west, fighting the bad guys. You know, I find it intellectually invigorating because, I mean, the hackers, crackers, spammers, are really freaking smart, actually.
Absolutely.
They're just people just as smart as us who just went down a different path in life. So, you know, they're worthy adversaries, and it's enjoyable because I know that the work that we put in there, sometimes it can be frustrating because it's taking away from like a new feature that we could build. But we're protecting so many people. It's really a responsibility to do that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's good to hear. Also, you were mentioning Google Chrome. Now, I've personally made the switch to Google Chrome a couple of weeks ago. It's just been fantastic. I was waiting for the update for Firefox. It didn't really match up to what I was looking for Google Chrome. Now, other than obviously the speed and the beauty of the use of the system, what are like other qualities that you like about the actual browser?
What I love about Chrome is they took the browser paradigm as we understand it, but really questioned some of the fundamental aspects of it. Like, for example, you know, this will seem so natural, but that they move the address bar under the tabs rather than being over the tabs. It's actually a really powerful concept in how tabs work. The tabs sort of become a first-order process. They focused on speed above everything else and looked at what the biggest problems were, like, for example, plugins crashing or slowing down the system. Every single Google tab is its own individual process, so if one crashes, the others are still okay. Versus we've all had the experience, you know, in other browsers where one thing crashes or gets slow, entire thing slows down. The way the extension system works, just the UI I think is very thoughtful and very beautiful. Even like little touches in there, like I don't remember the exact setting, but I came across like a checkbox the other day, and instead of like on or off, it was like no or yes, I'd like to try that, or you know, just some like human touches. So I find interfaces like that, thoughtful, utilitarian, minimalist interfaces, inspiring. You know, because it's obvious, you know, behind every single checkbox, every pixel on that page, someone has put hours and hours of thought and discussion and debate and probably testing as well. So there's a ton to learn from there.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. A question about the game industry. It's really interesting to hear, to see where Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo was going. Do you pay attention at all to the gaming industry as to what's occurring, and is it of any interest to you?
I pay attention to the game industry largely from an academic fashion. So I don't have as much time to play games as I used to, which I really enjoy computer games and console games. But if you look at what they do in terms of how they design games, how they iterate on them, and how I guess the philosophy behind it, we have so much to learn there. So for example, when you start a new game, there's a training level, or there's an intro level, where you can hop around and shoot a few things, but you're not going to get killed. Or the fact that, you know, all games have some sort of save mechanism. So even when you do get killed, you don't have to go back to the very beginning. You can go back like a few steps. Right. And the way that they try to keep things entertaining. I think software could learn a lot from that. For example, in WordPress, I believe it was 2.8, we added undo everywhere. That's kind of like the save game feature. Right. Like there's nothing you can click in WordPress that's permanent. You can always undo it. You click delete. It used to be it was just gone. Right. Like go to backups or something, you're in trouble. Now just click undo. I think as we can get more and more of those, it increases people's confidence, and in their own way they'll start to play with WordPress more, through writing, through commenting, through trying different things, because they know it's kind of a safe area. And then like I talked about on stage, we need a training level. Like we need something that, like right now we kind of dump you on like the 10th level boss monster.
Okay, right.
The first time you use it. We kind of need to start you out. Maybe just like, here's how you do a post. And here's how you make it your first page. And like, go through some steps. And I think it will really help increase the accessibility of WordPress to the new audiences that are discovering it every day.
Excellent. Well, we would love to see some sort of a game layer put over the WordPress interface. Certainly something that incentivizes people to actually learn the system.
Yeah.
So we'd love to see that in the next couple of years. So one final question. I wanted to know, let's say in 40 years, as you look back on WordPress, who knows what it'll be back then. In the future, what do you hope to feel when you think about this project you've been working on for so long?
The two things I'm most proud of are the impact on the web. So the fact that we have a philosophy and idea of how the web should be, open source, free, accessible, in every language. And, what's the quote? The best way to predict the future is to invent it. We try to do that a little bit every day. So we try to embody the values that we hold dear. And by getting more and more people using WordPress, the web starts to resemble that as well. And so that always makes me happy. The fact that every WordPress website out there has a completely open API to all its content is powerful. And second, just the community of people around WordPress. It's my number one favorite thing.
Okay, right.
Like even if we were, we could be making anything. If it was the same group of people, I think it would be a lot of fun and it would kick butt. Every time I go to WordCamps, every time I meet other developers, there's some folks who are core contributors or core developers, contributed tens of thousands of lines of code I haven't met yet.
Right. Okay.
Every time you do it, just it's because although we have very different backgrounds, we're from different countries, speak different languages, everything, we sort of have a shared vision, for an open democratic web, and that ties us together across a very diverse set of people. And so, we have this common thing we all agree on, we're all excited about, which is great to have a mission there. But everyone's so different. And it's just interesting to learn, there's musicians, there's people who are really into, one of our folks, she used to be like a masseuse and do like hippie, massage therapy, energy healing type stuff. I mean, there's someone who's done everything, and it's just fascinating to hear stories and learn about it.
Excellent. Well, it was great to be able to speak to you today. Thank you for being with us on Citynet Magazine. Is there anything a last message that you wanted to shoot off to one of our to our audience?
Sure. If you want to check out WordPress, to get started, you can go to WordPress.com, or if you want to download it and hack on it yourself, if you're more technically advanced, go to WordPress.org.
Excellent. So have a great day. This is Tom Martin for Citynet Magazine. Stay tuned for more.